question. Yes, I am proud to be America's first straight female president. Helen?
Wasn't I wearing a hat?
Yes, you were. Now, in conclusion, my administration will focus on the 3 R's. Reading, writing, and refilling the ocean. Thank you very much.
It's hard to believe that sitting in front of the TV to watch The Simpsons is basically taking a ride into the future, but that is outrageously the case. Over time, this legendary comedic sitcom animation has made weirdly precise predictions about the future.
Into a picture going around online this month. It claims to show a screenshot of a 2002 episode of The Simpsons that eerily mirrors real-life events. It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with 2 Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt. So, did The Simpsons really predict the future?
If you think the COVID-19 pandemic prediction was the limit,
Please don't tell the supervisor I have the flu. I've been working with a shattered pelvis for 3 weeks.
wait until you see what the show has predicted about 2025. Will you ignore, or instead, choose the opportunity to?
Hey guys, I hope all is well. This is a shortened version of the Patreon exclusive Secrets of the Vatican. If you guys would like to watch the full video, join us on Patreon. You can find the link in the description and the comment section. Thank you all. Now let's get right into it.
According to Catholics, the Vatican is one of the most sacred places in Christendom, considered to be one of the most holiest places in the world, full of rich Christian culture and home to the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. With all that being said, the Vatican isn't just a holy place for Catholics, but a city full of religious secrets that have been kept from the world for generations. Today, we will be looking into some of these secrets to uncover the truth behind the Vatican. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Patreon exclusive. In today's episode, we will be talking about the secrets of the Vatican. Let's get right into it. Recently, the Vatican was all over headlines after it was revealed that the Pope was going to be performing a sacred ritual on Christmas Eve. It was being reported all over social media that the Pope was going to be opening up 5 portals to the spiritual world. While this was an exaggerated example of what actually happened, this isn't completely false. It was reported by the media that the Pope was going to be opening one of 5 sacred holy doors on Christmas Eve and would continue opening the remaining 4 doors over the course of the week. On December 24th, Pope Francis used a ceremonial hammer to open a sealed door at the Vatican to mark the beginning of the Jubilee, or a holy year. Jubilee years are held at least every quarter century, with the last regular one being in 2000. The Jubilee begins with the ceremonial opening of the sealed doors, signifying a pathway to forgiveness, a tradition dating back to 1425. Traditionally, the Pope opens the doors at Rome's 4 basilicas, starting with one at the Vatican on Christmas Eve and continuing over several days. The point of the ritual is to symbolize the transition from sin to grace. It is believed that once you enter the holy doors, you're in the presence of God, in the same room as Him. This holy door remains open for at least 1 year. This is supposed to be a spiritual ritual connected to the redemption of one's soul. While this all sounds great and might sound like it's truly rooted in Christianity, I find it hard to believe that this is the true purpose of this ritual. And that's because of everything I know about the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican. For example, where do you think the word Vatican comes from? It's not in the Bible, and it isn't connected to Christianity in any way. In fact, the word Vatican comes from a pagan god called Vatica, or Vatican, who was worshipped as the god of childbirth and the underworld. This god was closely associated with serpents. Now ask yourself, why would a holy city that's supposed to be deeply connected to historical Christianity be named after a pagan god? Well, it's all because of Rome. Now before I continue, I want to say this video is not an attack on the Catholic Church or any Catholics. Most people who follow the Catholic Church are followers of Jesus Christ and are part of the church for the same reasons as Christians. My parents were Catholic for most of my life. They only converted to Christianity about 10 years ago when I showed them the truth about the Roman Catholic Church. The people who follow the church are only trying to get closer to God like Christians, but those in positions of power like the Pope know the truth about the Roman Catholic Church and are taking advantage of millions of people who choose to follow them. Like I have said multiple times on this channel, the Roman Catholic Church is simply the continuation of the pagan Roman Empire. The reason the Roman Catholic Church was created was because the Romans knew the fall of paganism was coming after they murdered Yeshua. After they crucified Yeshua, they thought his movement was going to fall along with him. But the opposite happened after Yeshua resurrected and appeared to his loyal followers. This is why the Vatican is full of secrets, because it hides the church's connections to pagan Rome. This became even more clear with the Templars, who led to the creation of many of the modern secret societies like the Freemasons. The Templars were a Roman Catholic army that claimed to be the defenders of Christ. In reality, they were channeling Baphomet and performing pagan occult sex rituals. They practiced sex magic and alchemy, and it's the reason so many other secret societies operate this way today. To those who weren't initiated, they believed the Templars were the army of God. For those who were initiated, they knew the Templars were occultists who practiced the same rituals the Roman pagans did. This is all connected to the same source, man trying to be God. Now that we have established a clear connection between ancient pagan Rome and the Roman Catholic Church, let's get into some of their secrets. First, let's talk a bit about the ritual of the holy doors the Pope did. This so-called holy door ritual comes directly from the pagan occult ritual called the spiritual door ritual. During this ritual, occultists would draw occult symbols and chant. They would chant ritualistically to attempt to summon the deity they were trying to be in the same room as. They would then use ritual tools to open the spiritual door that would put them in the same room as the deity they were trying to reach, just like the Vatican did with this holy door ritual. The members of the church were singing while the Pope opened the holy door using a ritual hammer. He then walked into the room and claimed to be in the same room as God. Millions of people watched the Pope perform a spiritual door ritual and believe it's connected to Christianity when it's a known pagan ritual. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Vatican's secret archives, specifically one book that is kept in it. The book is called the Red Dragon Grimoire, or the Grand Grimoire, and it's a book of black magic that includes instructions for summoning demons and making pacts with them. The book contains spells for summoning Lucifer, necromancy, winning the lottery, speaking with spirits, and more. The book's origins are uncertain, with some dating it to 1421, 1521, or 1522. The introductory chapter was written by Antonio Benedita, who claimed to have gathered his information from the writings of King Solomon. King Solomon is an important figure in the occult world, known for building the Temple of Solomon in the Bible. The Freemasons' entire religion is created off the principles of King Solomon and his temple, as the Masons see themselves as the builders of the inner temple. I can honestly make an entire video about the Red Dragon Grimoire, so if you guys want to see that, comment Red Dragon Grimoire below. Now think about this. Why in the world does the Vatican have a grimoire in their archives that could be used to summon demons and control them? This lets you know exactly what those at the Vatican are up to. The next thing we need to talk about is the Paul VI Audience Hall, or otherwise known as the Hall of Pontifical Audiences. This audience hall was built in 1971, and it holds exactly 6,300 people. Now the reason I'm talking about this hall is due to the way it looks. If you look at it closely, it clearly resembles a massive serpent. You can see the ceilings look like serpent scales, while the windows look like eyes, and on the stage, you see two pillars that look like serpent fangs. This is clearly a serpent, which is not surprising when you remember the word Vatican comes from the pagan god Vatica, who was depicted as a serpent. Now it's not a coincidence that the hall holds 6,300 people, and it's called the Paul VI Audience Hall. If you invert 6-3, you get 36, or 3 sixes, which we know is the mark of the beast who is also represented as the serpent. Now ask yourself, why in the world would the Vatican have had this hall constructed in their city? Inside of this serpent hall, they also have a sculpture called the Resurrection, which is a sculpture depicting Christ rising from a nuclear explosion amongst the twisted knots of dismembered hands and skulls. Ask yourself, why in the world will they have a sculpture of Jesus Christ that looks like this inside of a hall that is clearly a serpent? A statue of Jesus that looks like he has been defeated inside of a room that glorifies the serpent. This statue is supposed to represent Jesus rising and resurrecting, but to me it looks nothing like that. The Vatican is telling us the truth in plain sight. It is also rumored that the Philosopher's Stone, or the instructions on how to make it, are held in the Vatican archives. The Philosopher's Stone is a substance that could be used to make the elixir of life, and it is created through the process of physical alchemy. The philosopher's stone was claimed to be used to turn base metals into noble metals like lead to gold, or to turning man into a god, as whoever drank the elixir of life created with the philosopher's stone would become immortal. It is believed that Albertus Magnus, who was a theological advisor to the Pope, was able to create the philosopher's stone. He then gave this magical substance to the Pope, and it eventually ended up in the Vatican. What's interesting is that the Catholic Church eventually made Albertus a Catholic saint 250 years after his death. Albertus was a full-on alchemist and occultist who practiced and believed in things that went completely against Christianity. So why is he being worshipped by the Catholic Church? Some people believe that the reason the Vatican is full of gold is because they have the Philosopher's Stone. The next thing we need to talk about is the Vatican hiding the Holy Grail in their archives. For many, many years, people have believed the Vatican has been holding and hiding the Holy Grail, while they claim to possess the Holy Chalice of Valencina and declare it to be the Holy Grail. That's not the real Holy Grail. It was rumored that the Templars actually had the Holy Grail in their possession, and it ended up in the possession of the Vatican. The Vatican is keeping this important religious relic hidden from the world to further disconnect people from Christ. Something else the Vatican keeps tucked in their archives is the Sumerian tablets. The Sumerian tablets describe a pantheon of gods, including An, Enlil, Nanhursag, and Enlil, which is a key characteristic of pagan religions. What is a church that is dedicated to the Abrahamic God doing with the Sumerian tablets that have knowledge of pagan gods? Again, this shows the Vatican is still very much connected to their pagan roots. Like I said earlier, this video is not an attack on the Catholics or their beliefs. I just want to bring up the facts about why the Catholic Church was created and why the Vatican has so many secrets. Everyone who follows Yeshua as the only way to the Father is my brother, no matter the religion. But it's important we educate ourselves on the truth before blindly following what we're told out of ignorance. We need to know the truth to make the right decision. Well, I'm gonna end this one here, but before you guys go, I would like to kindly ask you guys to subscribe if you're not. Please like, comment, and share this video so others who need to see this get a chance. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Excellent question.
Hey guys, I hope all is well.
Excellent question. Yes, I am proud to be America's first straight female president. Helen?
Wasn't I wearing a hat?
Yes, you were. Now, in conclusion, my administration will focus on the 3 R's. Reading, writing, and refilling the ocean. Thank you very much.
It's hard to believe that sitting in front of the TV to watch The Simpsons is basically taking a ride into the future, but that is outrageously the case. Over time, this legendary comedic sitcom animation has made weirdly precise predictions about the future.
Looking into a picture going around online this month, it claims to show a screenshot of a 2002 episode of The Simpsons that eerily mirrors real-life events. It shows Donald Trump touching a glowing orb with 2 Middle Eastern-looking men. Well, last month, President Trump did just that with the King of Saudi Arabia and the President of Egypt. So, did The Simpsons really predict the future?
If you think the COVID-19 pandemic prediction was the limit,
Please don't tell the supervisor I have the flu. I've been working with a shattered pelvis for 3 weeks.
wait until you see what the show has predicted about 2025. Will you ignore, or instead, choose the opportunity to know what will play out next year? If you're curious to find out, then join us as we reveal The Simpsons' insane predictions for 2025. AI takeover. AI is fast advancing, and we might love every bit of it, thanks to how it makes life much easier. But what if we tell you that The Simpsons might have a scary prediction about the future of AI? In a 2016 episode, this scary prediction happens when the family visits a park populated by robotic staff. As interesting as this is, things soon went out of hand when the AI went rogue. eventually turning around to kill everyone in the park. Besides being interesting, this is also very scary, as it causes us to wonder about AI's role in our evolving society. Two things come into play at this point. First is the possibility of AI putting the average worker out of jobs, thereby increasing unemployment, which is already a problem. Another point is a discussion that has long terrorized scientists as AI advances. What is the possibility of humans creating something more intelligent than themselves without it backfiring? Jürgen Schmitterberg, a well-known name in science and tech, made what might be happening in the future clear when he said that AI will trigger runaway technological growth and bring tremendous changes to our civilization in 30 years. As it turns out, The Simpsons might have been a portal to the future, but that their predictions get more interesting. War against clean energy. A rather interesting scene in The Simpsons accurately predicts the future. This takes us to episode 582, where Lisa Simpson invents a car powered by solar energy to join a race in the alternative energy derby. Things unfortunately turn sour when a corporate firm blocks the sun with their blimp, causing Lisa to stop short a few inches to the finish line and be mocked by the crowd. This scene can be considered casual, but these Simpsons' psychic powers of predicting the future kick in when viewed differently. The world today is moving fast towards clean energy, and at this rate, having cars run on clean or solar energy is not impossible to achieve in 2025. But the bad news is the other part of this prediction. The possibility of the transition to clean energy being fought against by corporate interest firms.
Without energy supply, I don't believe that economic growth will be there. This is an important issue for all the developing countries alike.
It's been happening in the past, and based on warnings from The Simpsons, it's likely to happen in the future as well. The next prediction is pretty intense. Environmental disaster. Suppose there is one prediction of The Simpsons to fear. In that case, it is the prediction of an imminent environmental disaster that is likely to destroy humanity if it isn't fixed or not. We take the cue of this prediction from a 2007 episode when Homer dumps pig's feces in Springfield Lake, which, to say the least, was already battling with severe pollution. The result of this action was nothing short of frightening, as it led to the outbreak of a deadly disease. Springfield had to be quarantined due to the outbreak, with a giant bubble over the region to curtail the problem. This is an exaggerated way to look at things, but don't miss the point. The Simpsons has proven to be a series that comically predicts future events through the pictures it paints. The possibility of an environmental disaster is not far-fetched from what's possible in the near future. Global warming is already a huge problem, and public companies do not fail to add to the problem by polluting the environment even more. So it's safe to say we better do something and watch for this prediction in 2025. Hoover cars. In a world where distinct vehicles are used for different modes of transportation, The Simpsons make another amazing prediction about the Hoover cars, which blurs the line between road and air transportation. Here, they do a pretty good job painting a picture of the future, where problems with traffic are completely eliminated with the airways being the new road. Well, they had to take a trip into the future to paint this picture. First, we come in contact with the Hoover car prediction in a 1992 episode that ends 40 years into the future. In this scene, we do not just notice how aged Homer and Bart now are, but also notice the series of Hoover cars flying around like they were the new normal. In another episode in 2005, Bart and Lisa looked into their future through a time machine invented by Professor Frank. Surprisingly, they saw that Marge had left Homer because he spent all their savings on an underwater home and the rest on a Hoover car. It might be very hard to believe, but to think that hover cars are now being worked on as we speak, The Simpsons has become that show that deserves applause. Virtual reality food. Amongst all the Simpsons predictions for the future, nothing is more absurd than this one. In a realm where imagination meets with technology and comedy, The Simpsons have pushed the boundaries of what is possible through their predictions. In one of their episodes, they portray virtual food, which might be possible. In the unique episode, a character in The Simpsons can be seen consuming food from a VR headset. Can you imagine it? A future where virtual reality transforms even our dining experience is a reality we couldn't imagine could be affected by technology. But the Simpsons are not that faithless, and their predictions might well be coming to pass as science and technology improve. More impressive is that the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line plans to provide guests with a real-life VR dining experience. Now, are producers not geniuses? Baby language translator. Whether you're your parent or not, it's easy to tell how frustrating it is when you don't know what a baby wants, simply because you don't understand their language. Knowing this, we arrive at a somewhat exciting prediction from The Simpsons. In one of the series episodes, a Simpson character who is a genius creates a device that can translate a baby's language into something truly rich. Adults can understand. It was a roller coaster ride from that point, with the episode causing much laughter while teaching a poignant lesson on the travails of parenting and the frustration that comes from being unable to understand their babies. While this concept is delivered comically, what's more amazing is how concrete this prediction might be, with scientists and researchers currently working on areas regarding sound recognition and analysis. Thanks to The Simpsons, we know at least that the future might be brighter than we expect in the short term. Mars colonization. We know that humanity is pushing fast towards colonizing Mars, with Elon Musk at the forefront. But what if we told you that The Simpsons had predicted this situation long before Elon Musk announced his intention to help man colonize Mars? We see this in an intriguing episode where Lisa Simpson is selected to go to Mars to build a habitat. Because Marge wasn't comfortable with this, she signed up to go with Lisa, which soon led the entire family to sign up in line to send a man to Mars before 2026. In the episode, however, the takeoff failed, with the family only being able to arrive on Mars in 2051. This happens before Lisa announces again that she wants to go to Venus. Indeed, all of this might appear comical on the surface. Still, the degree of accuracy of this prediction is outrageous, bringing us to another controversial prediction: Ivanka Trump as future president. Before now, The Simpsons had made a name for itself by accurately predicting major political events, such as the election of Donald Trump into the presidency. But they didn't stop there. They pushed the boundary in another episode in 2016, hinting at what might be Ivanka of becoming the future president of America, thereby carrying on her father's legacy and leadership. This prediction shines in one of the episodes where Homer wears an Ivanka 2028 campaign button. It is easy to dismiss this scene as merely part of the producers making fun, but that is not the case. Intriguingly, the prediction of Ivanka becoming the future president of America is not a mistake. It is carefully calculated, judging from how well inclined Ivanka already is in regard to the political landscape. Riding on the tutorship and help of her father, it is therefore safe to say that The Simpsons' predictions are well within what's possible when they predict the future presidency of Ivanka Trump. We will just have to wait and see how this one plays out. Meanwhile, the prediction that Ivanka will become president is one to think about because she is Trump's daughter and a woman. Could the show be hinting at the future of a female president in America? More interestingly, Ivanka is not the only woman predicted to be the female president of America. There is also an episode where Lisa Simpson was the president of America. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Mind control through music. Now here's one bizarre but tricky prediction of The Simpsons on this list, and you probably guessed right because it's all about the music. Remember that interesting but kind of eerie episode from 2001 titled The New Kids on the Block? In it, we see Bart, Milhouse, Nelson, and Ralph join up with a boy band known as the Party Posse. Unknown to them, it was a psyop scheme orchestrated by the United States to sell some ideas to kids in the neighborhood. Here, the hit song of the boy band comes into play with the famous line, Ivan et Nioj, which simply means join the Navy spelled backward, aiming to control the minds of the kids. Now this is not something you get to hear about every day. Still, The Simpsons was bold enough to explore it, focusing on the power of music and how it can influence people's actions and thoughts. We might find this strange, but The Simpsons' prediction about music being a tool to control people is already coming back, and it started long ago. It goes a long way to show us that what we hear can influence our lives more deeply than we can think of. because what we hear plants a seed in our minds that eventually germinates and bears fruit. Hologram. While exploring the extent of what's possible for humanity, The Simpsons also touches on the future of hologram technology, where it becomes well integrated into our normal day-to-day life. According to their prediction, the time seems to be fast approaching, and communication will go beyond the screen to a point where lifelike 3D images are projected into the physical space. The sweetest part of this prediction is that this would become a normal way to interact. This prediction can be seen in one of the Simpsons episodes, where a peek into the future shows the show's characters interacting with a hologram. So what's the possibility of this happening in real life? Well, we can say that the possibility of the prediction about holograms coming to pass is very likely, judging from the current progress of technology. Interestingly, hologram technology is made possible by integrating augmented and virtual reality, which are quickly being improved. Recently, scientists and researchers alike have left no stone unturned to ensure that ways are found to project holograms into our world. And thanks to The Simpsons, we know that they are likely to have a breakthrough soon. What do you think about The Simpsons' predictions for 2025? And their other predictions we didn't mention? The Simpson prophecies. For over 3 decades, The Simpsons have entertained audiences with sharp wit, wacky storylines, and humor. Many may overlook the prophetic parts and accurate predictions that have left viewers scratching their heads over the years. For instance, there was an episode called Lisa's Wedding in 1995. Lisa was shown using a video phone booth to chat with her fiancé. Fast forward to 1997, the world witnessed the birth of the BlackBerry, a groundbreaking device that merged the phone and rudimentary internet. The Simpsons, however, took it a step further. In 2008, the episode Bart Gets an Elephant shows a character wearing a wristwatch that displayed video calls. This was years before the Apple Watch released its wearable tech. If you think that was merely a coincidence, the next one will shock you. Edward Snowden's revelations. In the 2000 episode Trippin' on Nuts, a character named NSA Guy steals classified information from the National Security Agency, NSA, and escapes to Cuba. This may seem like old spy movie stuff, except for a real-life shocker in 2013. Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor, leaked highly classified documents revealing the vast global surveillance programs of the NSA. The similarities include the Cuban connection. Did The Simpsons have a mole within the intelligence community? It is unlikely, but it has certainly sparked debate on the ability of the show to predict the future like no other. But that's not all, and the following 2 revelations are still the most shocking to date. Presidency of Donald Trump. A 1998 episode titled Bart to the Future shows Donald Trump as the 45th president of the United States. At the time, Trump was a reality TV star and businessman, far from the political sphere. The episode's writers later claimed it was a joke based on Trump's flamboyant personality. However, when Trump announced his candidacy in 2015 and subsequently won the election in 2016, The Simpsons' prediction became the talk of Hollywood. Whether it was a lucky guess or a random jab that accidentally hit the bullseye, the episode remains a mystery in American political history. The last one is a prediction of a subaquatic accident. In a 1994 episode, Marge Gets a Job, Homer is a safety inspector at a nuclear power plant. One scene shows a faulty submarine imploding due to a design flaw, with the crew trapped inside metal coffins. Tragically, in 2000, the Kursk, a Russian nuclear submarine, sank in the Barents Sea, killing all 118 crew members. The accident was later attributed to a faulty torpedo, and the submarine's design hampered the rescue attempt. These are just a few of Simpsons' predictions that many believe to have come to pass. Whether it's just luck, pure coincidence, brilliant social commentary, or something mystical, one thing is sure. The Simpsons are leaving both entertained and a little worried about the future. Here is the exciting part of this story. Stay alert as we look at the shocking Simpson predictions for this year. Return of Donald Trump. The Simpsons predicted that Trump would win the 2024 election. On November 15, 2022, Trump announced his intention to run for president in 2024. Al Jean, A writer for The Simpsons posted on X that the show had foreseen this in 2015. In an episode where the Simpsons family ventures into the future, Homer passes by a sign that reads, Trump 2024. The most shocking part is that this episode aired before Trump became president. The Simpsons had previously predicted Trump's presidency